Hi, Dr. Eric Thomas talking today about one of the most interesting, one of the best, one of the most frustrating, one of the perhaps scariest, how many things can I say, about acne. I'm talking here about isotretinoin, also known by its original name, Accutane, though there are a number of generics now and others such as Clarivis. This isn't for the average acne. It isn't for a few zits or a little oily skin. It's for acne that has failed to improve with proper treatment, or people cannot take certain pills. Then it's a possibility. It's wonderful because it actually shrinks, or we call it de-differentiates, the glands that are producing all of that waxy product that produces inflammation. And it almost always works, but it is controversial. It is frustrating for you to get on. It is very frustrating for us in the office to prescribe, but we feel we have to make it available for people who truly need it. It's a pill, one or two a day. It has a major side effect, big impact. It can produce serious birth defects, primarily in male babies, if the mom is exposed to it, because it does affect the development of some of the areas on male babies. But in any event, it is something that is so important that it is still available. Now, there is a system called the iPledge system that requires the doc to go online to confirm that a person has had appropriate education. If the person is a woman of childbearing potential, have to have monthly pregnancy tests, and then the person, him or herself, has to go online to confirm all of that. Then, and only then, does the pharmacy get an okay from the iPledge system to dispense it. So you better believe it's a pain in the neck. Other things that can happen, well, it can affect cholesterol or triglycerides, so we do get that tested regularly. It will definitely dry people out. They almost always get chapped lips, dry skin. Why do it? Because it works. Because it often produces a prolonged improvement, perhaps 6 months, perhaps a couple of years. Many people I've put on Accutane think that it is a cure. Technically it isn't, because what we're doing is shrinking those oil glands, making them more like the oil glands that a 6-year-old might have. But they do eventually wake up again, and therefore acne might or might not occur. It depends. There are other side effects that have gotten a lot of play and papers over the years. Depression. Well, we always ask, how are you feeling? And tell people very bluntly, if you're feeling low, let us know. There have been reports of people committing suicide, etc. There are equally significant reports saying that actually for many people with severe scarring acne, that finally getting a treatment that cures, that gets rid of it, as close to cure as we're going to get, improves their state of mental health. So I'm not afraid to prescribe it. I do prescribe it, as do my people in the staff, but we do it carefully and only after everything else has been tried, everything reasonable, and only after a lot of education. There are written consent forms that have to be signed. So please don't let me talk you out of Accutane. It's good stuff. In fact, when it came out in whenever, the 80s or whatever, it was a game changer. Acne that we never, ever could touch. Acne that would leave terrible scarring, and unfortunately it still happens sometimes. Or keloids, which are a type of scar that are pretty difficult, if not impossible to treat, though there are things that can be done. Suddenly it almost became easier once you put a person on Accutane and jumped through all the hoops. It almost became easier to treat than using the older, safer techniques. So if I sound enthusiastic about it, it is because I am. I am very enthusiastic for the right person, the right place. Am I frustrated? Oh my Lord, that iPledge system is from the pits. There are people trying to simplify it, and I'm not involved in that discussion, and I'm not going to weigh in on it because I don't know all the ifs, ands, or buts. But I will say that I've heard of one individual, and I understand this is the way it works, went to the pharmacy. She had a window of 1 week to get it following a negative pregnancy test, and she was apparently negotiating at the pharmacy window to get it, but it was at the very end of the window, and by the time the negotiation finished, she was a few minutes past the window, and she had to go through the whole negative pregnancy test and so forth again. Wasn't actually my patient, but I have that on good knowledge from a pharmacist. So there you go. It's great stuff. It should be available, and it is available. But just be prepared for being very helpful in the doctor's office, because when we have a window and then people miss it, it's really bad. And similarly, we've had problems getting things. People will start, this just happened, they'll start with one of my APRNs, and then the person decided, oh, well, maybe I won't do it. 6 months go by, they decide to do it after all. Well, you call the iPledge system, get an override code. How long is it good for? 24 hours. Okay, great. Tried it 18 hours later. We do not recognize that code. Had to do the whole thing over again. Still trying to do it, actually. So there you go. Use it, but use it only when you need to. Hope that this helps you understand the difficulty of getting on and the importance of doing it properly if you ever do go on to Accutane. But it can save a tremendous amount of pain, scars, keloids, and make a person's life change so much for the better that I really am in favor of it, all things considered. Anyway, this is Dr. Eric Thomas looking out for you. Best wishes.